911, state your emergency.
There's an accident at the Corcoran High School football field.
Are there any injuries?
Yes, there's a body laying on the ground, and there's still some people in the car. I don't think they can get out.
Okay, how many vehicles are involved?
There are 2 cars.
Okay, help is on the way.
Okay.
$15.75 Corcoran.
Go ahead, Corcoran.
Injury TA, Corcoran High School football field. Possible pin-in and 1 victim ejected. CHS football field.
10-4. En route. Whitley and Derry with lights.
10-4. Station 11, ambulance 625. Injury traffic accident, Corcoran High School football field. Possible pin-in with 1 victim ejected.
County Fire, Engine 11, Squad 11, Ambulance 625 responding.
Copy, units responding. Entry traffic accident, Corcoran High School football field. Possible pin-in with 1 victim ejected.
County Fire, Engine 11, Squad 11, Ambulance 625 on scene. We have 2 vehicles involved, head-on traffic accident, 1 ejection, 1 pin-in. Corcoran PD is also on scene.
Copy, Engine 11.
Jenny! Somebody help us! Jenny! Move, Jenny! Jenny, please wake up! Jenny, why aren't you moving?
You all right, sir?
Yeah.
You okay? Yeah. What's going on?
Help us, please! Somebody please help
Have you had
us.
something to drink today? I can smell a little bit of alcohol in your breath.
I just had a couple.
Okay. How long ago?
It's an hour ago.
Hour ago? Okay, let's come over here. The car's smoking, okay?
You okay?
My head hurts.
Relax,
My neck
relax. What's your name?
Are you injured?
Genevieve.
It's my arm.
Excuse me?
Your arm?
Genevieve.
Anything else?
Genevieve?
No, sir.
Okay.
Okay, Genevieve. Okay, do you know
Let's
what
come
day
over
of the
here,
week it
okay?
is? Are you okay? Okay, just relax, just relax. We got somebody coming out here.
There you go. Take it easy,
Besides
okay?
your head, are you hurt anywhere
Watch your
else?
step right here.
Okay, your neck. Just relax, just relax. Hang on a second, okay?
How much have you had to drink today?
Just a couple, sir.
Jenny!
You all right? Okay. What I want you to do is tilt your head back slightly and close your eyes, okay? Keep them closed until I
Ashley,
tell you to
they're
open
not
them.
helping Jenny. I don't know what to do.
Can you
All
hear
right,
me?
Go ahead and open them for me. All right. Next
Can you
test I
hear
want
me?
you to do is I'm going to
Okay.
have you put
What's
your
your
index
name,
fingers
dear?
at a 45-degree angle, okay?
I'm sorry?
I'm going to have you close your eyes
Okay,
and tilt your head
Mariah,
back
stand
slightly.
tight. Stand tight, okay? We got the ambulance coming in, okay?
All right. Go ahead and put your
Okay.
hands down. Oh, okay. Next test I want you to do is I'm going to have you lift your foot up 6 inches off the ground, keeping your hands down to your side.
1,000, 2,000.
You all right?
Yes.
Okay, let's try it one more time.
Please.
1,000, 2,000.
Okay.
County Fire, Engine 11, Squad 11,
Okay, I'm gonna
Ambulance
have you walk over
625
my
on
control unit real
scene.
quick, okay?
We
We're
have
gonna
2
test your blood
vehicles
alcohol
involved,
level, okay?
head-on
It's called a
traffic
pass device.
accident, 1 ejection.
Okay, I'm gonna have you wait right here, okay?
Stay still for me, don't move, okay?
Help Jenny.
What's your name?
Chris.
Chris what?
Nolan.
Chris Nolan. How old are you, Chris?
17.
17 years old.
Are you awake? Okay. What we're going to do is we have the fire.
Jenny! Please help Jenny.
Okay, just lean against the car. I don't want you to fall, okay?
Okay, number 1, 2.
All right, Chris. This is called an alcohol sensor. Okay, it tests the alcohol content in your body at this time, okay? You understand? What I'm gonna have you do is put your lips around the straw here, blow out like you're blowing up a balloon. When you hear it click, I'm gonna have you stop, okay? Take a deep breath in, blow all the way out. There you go, very good. Chris, at this time, your blood alcohol content is 0.12, okay? You're over the legal limit. At this time, I'm gonna place you under arrest for DUI, okay? So go ahead and turn around, put your hands behind your back.
We want her out first. She's going to be our critical, and then we'll take care of this. Okay.
Also, due to somebody, looks like we have somebody else killed in the accident, you're going to be charged for vehicular manslaughter, okay? Have a seat in my vehicle, please.
This is fine. Her down.
Hey, Cutter's alive! Cutter's alive!
Okay, that's fine. Yep.
We're gonna get you taken care of, okay?
Okay,
Just-
please
just
hurry.
Take deep breaths for me, okay?
1, 2. All right, coming over down. All the way over. Got weight on the bottom.
Come back for a second.
Call my mom.
Which way, dear?
Support that roof.
Come on, we'll move the roof.
Carrying.
Right here, put your arms down.
Watching first.
I got the board. I have C-spine.
My mom.
Hey, 17-year-old involved in a motor vehicle accident, high speed, head on, but she just started getting agonal about 5 minutes out.
Okay, what was
She does have one blown pupil, and it looked like she was restrained. No gag reflex. Charging 360. Clear.
Everybody clear? Do you want to give some back?
Seniors.
Looks like she went back into refib.
Very clear.
Charging, clear?
Clear. Start CPR.
You're sitting at 25. You have fog?
Check the rhythm.
Charge. Clear? Clear?
It's been 25 minutes, doctor.
You got blown pupils. Yeah, I got
No pulse now. No pulse.
Did all we could.
Time of death is 14:56.
Thank you, doctor.
All right, Chris, I'm gonna have you step in here. Stop right there. I'm gonna take the handcuffs off you, okay? When I take this hand out, I want you to put it on the back of your head, you understand?
Yes, sir.
Once I take this handcuff off, I'm gonna have you put this hand on the back of your head, you understand?
Yes.
After I shut the door, you can put your hands down, okay?
Are you Genevieve's mom?
Yes.
She is back in her trauma room, so the doctor's ready to talk with you if you'd like to come with me. Okay. Okay.
Are you okay?
My neck hurts, Mom. I think Jenny's dead.
Genevieve.
My head hurts so bad.
Okay, Chris. What I need you to do is take a deep breath in, blow all the way out, okay, until you hear it click. Okay. Your blood alcohol content is still 0.12. It's over the legal limit. Since you're only 17 years old, you cannot have any amount of alcohol in your system at this time, but you over almost half or 1/2 of the legal limit. You understand?
Parents of Ashley Quintanilla?
Yes.
Then you come with us, the doctor's ready to see. You can see your daughter. What's going on?
Okay.
I think Jenny's dead.
What happened?
We got in an accident. I'm fine. My neck hurts.
Are you the father?
Yes.
I'm sorry to inform you that she didn't make it. We did everything we could. Would you like to come see her?
Yes.
Okay. I'll give you a few minutes to be alone. Okay.
Your son's under arrest right now. He's being arrested for DUI, and he also, there's somebody he got in a car accident with another vehicle at the Corcoran High School Stadium, and one of the girls is dead in the car.
Oh my God.
So he's also going to be booked on vehicular manslaughter.
Oh my God.
So if you would like to, I can take you back and talk to him.
Yeah, can I see him, please?
Yes, ma'am. He's in the hole, so we can go ahead and talk to him.
Christopher, what have you done? What happened?
I was drinking. Crashed.
Why?
I don't know.
Why would you be drinking?
We were just at a party having some fun.
Why would you get behind a wheel and drive after you've been drinking? Why didn't you call somebody? You could have called me or your dad. If you didn't feel comfortable calling us, you could have called Kelly or Philip.
I was scared too.
Christopher, do you realize what you've done?
Yes.
You've thrown your whole life away. And there's nothing I can do to save you from this time. I can't save you this time, son. Do you realize that you've killed somebody?
His girlfriend's also in critical care.
Oh my God,
we don't
Christopher!
know. We don't know if she's going to make it or not.
Oh my God, Christopher. There's nothing I can do for you, son. I love you.
Love you too.
We want you to identify and see if this is your gun, okay? Is that her?
Yes.
Everyone please rise. The Superior Court of the State of California, in and for the County of Kings, is now in session. The Honorable Robert Shane Burns, Judge presiding. Please be seated and come to order.
I will call the case of the people of the state of California versus Christopher Nolan, 14 CM0514. The record shall reflect. Mr. Nolan is present in court as attorney Mr. Rifkin, and people represented by Ms. Weber. Now is the time and place for sentencing. Are the people ready to proceed?
Yes, Your Honor.
Is the defense ready to proceed?
Yes, Your Honor.
Waive ready for judgment on the cause?
Yes.
And do you want to be heard?
Yes, Your Honor.
Have any statements in allocution you'd like to offer? Did you want to offer those first, or do you want to argue first?
I would ask to offer those first, Your Honor.
All right, proceed.
Ms. Nolan.
Your Honor, I am speaking on behalf of my son, Christopher Nolan, today. I am asking that you take into consideration the fact that Chris has never been in trouble before this. He had a clean record. He was a star student and athlete with a very bright future ahead of him. He was set to graduate in white with honors from Corcoran High School on June 6th, and he was headed to UC Santa Barbara in the fall on a swimming scholarship. He was also set to compete at the next Olympic trials in 2016. He is a good kid that made a very bad choice. I can't even begin to understand why he drank alcohol and decided to drive. He has never been a drinker or partier. If he was, he wouldn't have gotten as far as he did in school or with his swimming. He made a very bad choice which led to some very bad consequences. I know that he has to be punished for what he did, and he deserves to be punished. Part of his punishment is he will have to live with what he has done for the rest of his life. He not only killed 2 of his classmates, but Mariah was his girlfriend and the love of his life. I don't know if people ever get over that. I'm asking that you take these things into consideration before you determine which kind of sentence that you impose on him. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Hall. Mr. Griffin, any other statements of allocution?
No, Your Honor, just argument.
All right, you want to be heard?
Your Honor, the loss of life in this case is a tragedy. The loss of 2 youths is just horrendous. But again, this is an 18-year-old with no record, not even a speeding ticket. And based on that, the defense is asking that Mr. Nolan get a chance at probation. He was a promising athlete, a star student. He, again, never got in trouble in his entire life. He made one mistake. And that mistake, whether he's sentenced to prison or not, is going to live with him for the rest of his life. He knows what he did. He knows that there are 2 dead youths because of his poor decision to drink and drive. But if the court would consider probation, if the court were to consider that he had a chance to pay back the families, to pay restitution for the loss of life, to have an opportunity to speak to other people about the mistakes that he's made, to be a cautionary tale to others, so that other people aren't foolish enough to drink and drive and cause other loss of life. I believe that would also be in the interest of justice and would be within the court's discretion. Now, at this time, Mr. Arnold, would you like to address the court?
I take all responsibility for what I've done, and I'm sorry for the life that was taken.
Thank you, Mr. Nolan. Thank you, Mr. Ms. Glover. Does the people want to be heard?
Yes, Your Honor. Your Honor, the people agree with the defense in one respect, that this case does involve a terrible tragedy. But while the defendant sits here today living and breathing, focusing on his accomplishments and concern for his future as to why he should be granted probation, the people would like to address the bright futures of the victims in this case, Mariah Pacheco and Jenny Madrid, and how they were destroyed by the defendant's willful and callous actions. Mariah Pacheco was only 18 years old. She was active in softball, volleyball, and cheer. She was ASB vice president her senior year in high school. She'd already received a medical license and was working toward becoming a registered nurse. Her future and everything she had worked for was stolen from her on May 15th by the defendant. Jenny Madrid was only 17 years old. She was actively involved in Future Farmers of America, ASB, California Scholarship Federation, Key Club, and the Interact Club. She was an avid softball and basketball player as well as a cheerleader. She loved to volunteer. She participated in fundraisers by selling Kids' Day papers and raised money for the local children's hospital and regularly volunteered with her church. She did anything she could to give back to her community. Her future and everything she worked for was stolen by the defendant. The families of these 2 accomplished, bright young women will never see them again. Those families are seeking justice, and they will have to live with this tragic loss for the rest of their lives. The defense claims this is a mistake. Clearly it was. An accident, a bad decision, but this is more than that. The defendant knew what he was doing that afternoon when he got behind the wheel, and he chose to drive while he was intoxicated. He had just taken a driver's training class to get his license. That class specifically focused on the consequences of driving while impaired. He was advised in that class that driving impaired is extremely dangerous to human life, and he chose to do it anyway. Multiple witnesses saw the defendant drinking excessively at a house party that afternoon. His friends were begging him not to get behind the wheel because he was too drunk. He disregarded what his friends were telling him. He knew exactly what was going on, and he drove anyway. the defense asks that the defendant be made a cautionary tale by being given probation and telling his story to others. The people think the best cautionary tale would be the maximum sentence allowed by law in this case, and that would be a great warning to others. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Butler. All right, I would point out for the record, I have considered the probation officer's report and recommendation as for sentencing, including the attached victim impact statements to that recommendation, the circumstances of the offense itself, and the statements in allocution by the defendant and the defendant's mother. I will note the defendant is exceedingly young, at 17 years old, but nevertheless he stands convicted of the second-degree murder of Mariah Pacheco, the second-degree murder of Jenny Madrid, and for driving a vehicle while intoxicated, causing injury to multiple individuals, specifically Genevieve Garavay and Ashley Quintanilla, which is a violation of Vehicle Code Section 23-153, subparagraph B, with an enhancement allegation under Vehicle Code Section 23-558 for the multiple injuries. These convictions stem from an incident in which the defendant was driving a vehicle on Whitney Avenue while his blood alcohol content was 12% of alcohol by volume. The defendant was speeding and drifted into oncoming traffic, colliding with a vehicle driven by Jenny Madrid. Ms. Madrid was also 17 years old, and she died at the scene of that accident. Mariah Pacheco was an 18-year-old passenger in Mr. Nolan's car. She suffered catastrophic injuries, and while she was taken to Adventist Health Medical Center for treatment, she also died from blunt force trauma as a result of the accident. Genevieve Garavay and Ashley Quintanilla, both 18, were passengers in the car driven by Ms. Madrid, and both were injured, but luckily survived the accident. I do understand that Mr. Nolan did not intend to kill anyone. I do understand that Mr. Nolan did not intend to hurt anyone. I do understand that Mr. Nolan is young and it was an immature and poor decision. But in California, second-degree murder does not require an intent to kill. It does not require an intent to injure. It simply requires that you act with a callous disregard for human life, and that in that action you take a human life. It's that indifference that makes it what we call a black heart murder. It makes you subject to a potential life term, although you can be granted probation under these facts. It appears to me that in this day and age, with modern media and news stories about drunk drivers and the injuries that they cause, bombarding our airwaves every day, with the Mothers Against Drunk Driver commercials that we all see every holiday season, showing some poor man or woman who has been killed by a drunk driver, left their children parentless, or their spouse alone. That with DARE programs in our schools, where officers come in and talk to you specifically about the dangers of drug and alcohol use in operating a vehicle, as well as driver education programs, which this defendant himself completed, all of which emphasize the danger of driving while impaired and the catastrophic consequences choosing to drink and drive can have to members of our society. It is inconceivable to me that Mr. Nolan did not understand the dangers of driving while under the influence, and yet he chose to do so. Having been exposed to that information, it was his decision to drink until he was under the influence. It was his decision to climb into a car. And it was his decision to speed down a public roadway with a 2,000-pound steel vehicle, which at that time became a 2,000-pound deadly weapon. That can only be characterized as a callous disregard for human life. And it is clear to me that Mr. Nolan was more concerned with his good time than the life of his girlfriend or the public on that roadway. However, the purpose of sentencing is to seek justice. And justice does not mean we punish someone as harshly as humanly possible just for the sake of punishment. Justice requires that we assign consequences appropriate to the criminal conduct and the harm that is caused and the individual that has caused it. I am aware that Mr. Nolan has a very bright future, that he is an intelligent young man who earned a scholarship to the University of California in Santa Barbara. That is quite an achievement, and that he can be a positive example for many members of this community. In fact, he is already a positive example for many members of this community, whether he realizes that or not. There are numerous students at Corcoran High School that would love the opportunity to go to college and have a future that lays before Mr. Nolan. He is very young. A prison commitment would mean that he will not be attending UC Santa Barbara on that swimming scholarship, that he would not be able to again train at the U.S. Olympic Training Center, and that it's also painfully clear to me that his victims are also very young. Jenny Madrid was also only 17, and she will no longer be able to attend Fresno State to become a nurse. And she will no longer be able to volunteer in her church and in her community. Mariah Pacheco was only 18, and she will not be able to use the certified nursing assistant's license she has already obtained, that she worked so hard to earn to give back to her community. And she will not be going to college to earn a degree to become a registered nurse as she had hoped. Those dreams have been crushed. Neither of those young ladies will be attending their high school graduation. They will not be allowed to marry. They will not be having children. They will not have the opportunity to raise their kids. They will never know the joy of having a grandchild. They won't even know the simple pleasure of the warmth on their skin on a warm spring day that has been taken from them forever. Genevieve Garavit and Ashley Quintanilla will be reminded of the death of their friend Jenny, whenever they are on Whitley Avenue near Derry. Whenever they walk by the spot where their friend's blood covered the pavement, they will be reminded of that evening. Whenever they see a beer commercial on television, they will be reminded of the choices Mr. Nolan made and the consequences that had to their friend. Probation will allow the defendant to enjoy the very life, the very activities that he has taken from Mariah Pacheco and Jenny Madrid. And Mrs. Nolan, while I sympathize with you, no mother should have to beg for her child. I understand that pain. I have children of my own. I cannot see that it's justice to allow your son to have the life he has taken from others. That is not consequences appropriate to his conduct. That is not consequences appropriate to the harm that he has caused. One of the primary goals of sentencing is to deter both the individual from committing the same conduct in the future, and to deter others by making an example, to hope that they will then become law-abiding individuals, to show others what will happen when you engage in the same criminal behavior in which Mr. Nolan has engaged. Mr. Nolan will serve as an example to others. Mr. Nolan, rise for your sentence. Sir, for the second-degree murder of Maria Pacheco, I sentence you to 15 years to life in the California Department of Corrections. For the second-degree murder of Jenny Madrid, I sentence you to 15 years to life in the California Department of Corrections, consecutive to the time on count 1. For the driving while causing injury while under the influence, I sentence you to 3 years in the state prison for the injuries to Genevieve Garavit and Ashley Quintanilla, and to a consecutive 1-year term for the multiple injuries you caused in this incident. Mr. Nolan, you will be sentenced to the California Department of Corrections for a minimum of 34 calendar years to life. That means, sir, that at 17, you will be 51 years old before you can ask the Department of Corrections to schedule a parole hearing for you. It doesn't mean you'll get parole at 51. That is when you can begin to request it. I, sir, am 51 years old. Look at me. When you are my age, you can ask if they can start to think about letting you out of prison. With that, you're remanded to the California Department of Corrections at Wasco to serve out your term. Remand Mr. Nolan at this time.
Yes, sir.
With that, court is adjourned.
can come up, please?
Thank you to everyone for being here today to pay tribute to my daughter Jenny. Losing a child is a parent's worst nightmare, and I cannot put words the grief myself, our family, and friends are feeling. Jenny was born on May 23rd, 1996. Her 18th birthday was just around the corner. I always wanted Jenny to be safe and thought that I could protect her from everything. However, she was tragically taken away from us. She leaves a huge emptiness in our hearts of all of us who loved her, many who were her friends, and even more who just had a glimmer of her through our family. Jenny was truly beautiful inside and out. She made many, many friends in her short life. You could feel her energy when she was near. She was smart, warm, and caring, bubbly, outgoing, funny, silly at times, and just simply like no other. Some of you didn't get a chance to be impressed by her, but those of you who knew her realize that we will miss everything about her. She wanted to try all things new and was not afraid. Jenny enjoyed life and was eager to taste all it had to offer. She loved the game of baseball, and I can truly say she was a fan of the Dodgers. Jenny loved her older brother Matthew, and she knew her brother loved her. She shared a special bond with him that only comes from being close siblings. Having a daughter also taught me a lot about myself. She showed me there is nothing more important than family and the love of a child. The memory of Jenny will live in our hearts forever.
Okay. Mariah's dad.
Mariah was Daddy's little girl. She was my only daughter, and it's hard knowing that I will never see her beautiful smile again. As a father, you never expect to be delivering your child's eulogy. I expected to be attending her graduation in a few weeks, attending her college graduation in the future, walking her down the aisle and holding the beautiful grandchildren she would have given us. However, life has a cruel way of turning all your expectations upside down and inside out. I have learned the past couple of days to not take anything in your life for granted, because the last time you see a loved one may actually be the last time. That was the case for my daughter. It's not fair that my daughter has been taken away at such a young age from me, her mother, and brothers, especially by someone who she loved dearly and someone I trusted to keep her safe when I wasn't able to. She was just about to start a new chapter in her life. She had just turned 18, got her license, and we bought her a new car. She was ready to start college in the fall, and she told us all the time how she was going to be the first person in our family to attend and graduate with her master's degree. She wanted to be a nurse. I was looking forward to that moment in her life, because I knew that we had raised her into the beautiful, successful young woman that we always knew she could become. I could not have been more proud of my daughter and everything she had already accomplished. She was an athlete, had great grades, very involved in school. She received her CNA license before she was a senior. I bragged to everyone about my daughter because I was so proud. We had a very special relationship. Even though she was not biologically my daughter, she was still my little girl. When I first met my wife, Mariah was a year old, and the first time she gave me that big, beautiful smile that a daughter gives of her father, I knew I was going to be in trouble. And the next 17 years were filled with those big smiles. They were usually followed by, "Dad, how much do you love me?" My response was always the same, with all my heart, what do you want? I have always been protective of my kids, but especially of my little girl. I remember the first camping trip we went on as a family. At night, I heard something outside the tent and immediately swept her into my arms, and the rest of the night she slept between her mother and I. I would spend the next 17 years doing everything in my power to keep her safe. Unfortunately, this time I could not. As a father, you do everything you can to protect your child from the cruel world, and I have learned you can't be everywhere. Mariah knew that I loved her because I told her every time she left the house. And I will say it now, I love you, sis. Dad will always love you. You will forever be in my heart and my little girl. I already miss you so much.
If I die young, bury me in satin, lay me down on a bed of roses, sink me in the river at dawn, send me away with the words of a love song. Uh-oh, uh-oh. Lord, make me a rainbow, I'll shine down on my mother. She'll know I'm safe with you when she stands under my colors. Oh, and life ain't always what you think it ought to be. No, ain't even gray, but she buries her baby. The sharp knife of a short life. Well, I've had just enough time. If I die young, bury me in satin, lay me down on a bed of roses, sink me in the river at dawn, send me away with the words of a love song. It's a sharp knife of a short life. Well, I've had just enough time, and she'll be wearing white when she comes into your kingdom. She's as green as the ring on her little cold finger. Never known the loving of a man, but it sure felt nice when he was holding her hand. There's a boy there in town, says he'll love her forever. Who would have thought that forever would be severed by the sharp knife of a short life? Well, I've had just enough time. A penny for your thoughts, oh no, I'll sell them for $1. They're worth so much more after I'm a goner, and maybe then you'll hear the words I've been singing. Funny how you're dead, how people start listening.